I've been betting for 7 years and working with sportsbooks for 3 of them. I've made a lot of mistakes during this time. Here are 8 things that I wish I could tell my 20-year-old self to help you avoid them. And the first mistake is no tracking equals no money. And what I mean by this is tracking the amount that you're betting potentially could win, just tracking your bankroll. It's as simple as what gets measured gets managed. That's why a lot of people have budgets for their personal expenses. You know how much you're spending. And the example on the screen is a simple one, but this is as simple as it has to be. You can throw the date that you're betting on there if you want to, but the things that you really just need are the risk amount, how much you are betting, how much you could potentially win. You're risking 100, for example, here to win 90. What type of bet you're doing so you can see at the end of the day where your best bets are. And for this example, we're prop betting. We're betting in the sport of the NFL so you can see which sport you are the best at over time. Did you win or lose? You won. So you add these 2 things together, your bankroll goes from $100 to $190. Another example, very simple. Now you're risking $50 to win $40. You're betting on an NBA spread here, you lose. So your bankroll was $190, you bet $50, it's now down to $140. And that may seem very simple in theory, just addition and subtraction, but that's all it has to be. Now you can add in percentages to see which percentage you're best on for sports and props and what your overall win percentage is, but this right here will get you going, and really it's the basics that you'll need. The second mistake is that you are relying on trends. And the trends I am talking about are the New England Patriots are 14-2 in their last 16 October games. Patrick Mahomes is 10-2 in his last 12 games when facing a losing team on the road. These trends are fun to hear, but they lack any sort of context. Now, there are a couple of trends that may actually matter. I say may because this is not even fully true, but these ones at least give us some context. That current season's team versus the spread. This type of a trend can let you know who the market is overvaluing and undervaluing for that season. But here's the big issue. This does not predict anything moving forward. It just shows you to that point if a team is being undervalued. If the team is 7-1 against the spread in the NFL season so far, obviously the market is not taking them seriously. And a second trend that I actually think is very interesting is that teams that are traveling on a short week, especially across coasts. If a West Coast team has to go from playing on Sunday to a short turnaround on the East Coast playing on Thursday, they lose more than 60% of the time against the spread and more than 75% of the time outright. Those 2 types of trends give us a little bit more context, and at least they're related to that specific season. Who cares about 3 seasons ago for Patrick Mahomes' trend when he was playing against different teammates and had different opponents and had different coaches on his staff? Mistake number 3 is you need to compare the lines you're betting. You may have also referred to this as shopping your lines, and here's a quick example. You're in a store and you see 2 identical chocolate bars. One bar is $2 and the other is $1. Again, they are the same exact bar, so you would never choose the $2 one over the $1 one. But this is exactly what you're doing when you don't shop your lines. This is what it means to shop or compare lines. You're doing exactly what it sounds like. You're looking at a bunch of different sports books up here, and there's even more if I was to scroll across, probably 10 to 12, and then you're looking at the lines and the prices they are offering. So for example, this is the tonight in the MLB. The Braves are underdogs. For them to win is plus 120. Every $100 you bet, you would win 120. So if you like the Braves tonight, you saw something there that led you to believe the Braves were the good play, you should not be taking this bet over on BetMGM. BetMGM, they're giving you plus 110. You can get it on PointsBet for plus 115, or you can get it where the best odds site right now on FanDuel is at plus 120. This essentially means if you were to put 100 on BetMGM because, you know, you're just being lazy, you're on the app, that's all you want to do. If that bet hits, you end up winning $110. That's great. If you would have taken the extra 5 seconds to go to this website and see that FanDuel was the spot to go to, you'd have won an extra $10. And an extra $10 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're betting 100 times a year, every single time you're ensuring you get the best line, so every single time you win, you're making more money. Yes, that is going to add up, especially if you start to increase your wagers from $100 to $200. Even if you're starting with $5, this is very important. Why would you buy the $2 chocolate bar when the identical piece of chocolate is there for $1? Mistake number 4 is parlays. You hate that you love them. Now, parlays are appealing because you could wager a little to win a lot. It's basically the lottery system. But check out this article from Yahoo Sports. In 2021, 55.1% of New Jersey's overall state profits were made on parlays from sports betting. Not only were they the biggest profit made, they made up the majority of the profit in bets, over 50%. This is where it gets crazy. This is a snapshot of October of 2021. That specific month, parlays made over $335 million for the sports books in New Jersey. That was more and much more than football straight bets, so just not parlaying them, saying that you want to take a team just to win or over under a money line, football, baseball, basketball, and all other bets combined. parlays were still more than that. Now, hey, you may win 1 out of 15 parlays, but your odds on the parlays you're taking are that you have to hit 1 out of 30 to ever break even. And before you can ever get to that 1 out of 30 number, you're going to either run out of money or you're going to get tired of them. And at that point, the sports books have already won. Mistake number 5 is just getting confused by the odds. So all you need to do is simply convert the odds into a percentage. You can just read this one for yourself. Which one do you find easier to understand? The Cowboys are minus 275 favorites, or the Cowboys have a 73% chance to win. Those are saying the exact same thing. I think we understand percentages a bit better. And you don't have to worry about any crazy math problems. There's free tools everywhere for this type of stuff. This is aceodds.com. I go here and I type in minus 275 from our example, and it tells me it's a 73.3% implied win probability. It makes it so much easier to understand the bets and the numbers that you're looking at, especially when you're looking at a lot each week. Mistake number 6 is getting caught up in the research of the specific sport or player prop and not understanding the market in general. And the market just means everybody who's betting. You will start to see success when you understand how a market moves, why it moves, and when it's an overreaction. Here's an example of a market overreaction. Team A and Team B play each other in week 4. Team A is a 3-point favorite. The prior week in week 3, Team B ends up losing and Team A wins. Team A now moves to a 5.5-point favorite heading into week 4. Assuming no major injuries to Team B, this is likely an overreaction, because not much can change from one specific week. These are the exact same teams, and just because one team lost last week to a completely different team that they match up completely different with, and maybe guys were a little bit messed up or playing on the road, now the spread is moving 2 to 3 points. That is an overreaction. This specific example is what we call a look-ahead line. Usually the NFL, college football, these weekly sports will post a line for the next week so you can look ahead to see what's happening. That gives you a good idea of what the odds should be. So if anything happens the week before to change that, unless it's an injury or something crazy goes on for a team, it's likely recency bias moving the market. Now, I mentioned earlier how parlays are a money-making machine for casinos and sports books, but there is one spot for parlays that I found to be actually profitable, and that is two-way player props, meaning you combine 2 player props. And this site right here that we're partnered with, PrizePicks.com, is the best site to do it on. And the beautiful thing is that when you combine these together, say you put $100 on it, you win 300, so 3 times your money. If you were to go to a normal sports book and combine 2 props together, you'd probably win 270. So they're giving you better odds overall. They're giving you a better payout. So to get the best odds on player props, you're going to want to use PrizePicks.com, and you can use the code SAL. There's a link in the description below for a free bet up to $100. They will match your first bet up to $100, so you get that additional free bet up to $100. Check out PrizePicks.com for that exclusive offer, code SAL, in the description below. Mistake number 7 is you are being way too emotional when you're betting. This can also be defined as gambler's fallacy, meaning that, oh, you just won 1 or 2 bets in a row and now you mentally think you are unstoppable. You're going to continue to keep winning. It is a legitimate psychological thing. So what can possibly help this, since it is so deep rooted in us as human beings? Well, tracking your bets. Again, what we talked about earlier, just getting a quick Excel sheet up. What gets measured gets managed. And once you start to understand the betting market more, it becomes pretty evident that this is not an emotional thing. It is about the numbers. Where is the best value and best bang for your buck? Where can you shop the lines? It becomes a lot less emotional and a lot less about how good Tom Brady is at football. Mistake number 8 is quite simply your expectations are too high. You ended up scrolling on Twitter and you saw some guy turn $20 into $579,000, and you decided that you have a brand new life goal. When in reality, those are once in a lifetime odds, and you have to win 52.5% of your bets roughly to be a profitable sports bettor, which between me and you sounds like one sweet life goal. You can now avoid these mistakes and become a much more winning player moving forward in your sports betting endeavors. And if you want to learn even more sports betting strategies, check out this video right here. Man, I'd be a lot richer if somebody told me all this stuff 7 years ago. Sheesh.